Lou bars too. I got to send her your record, bro. She's like, what? Because she listening back on all of the episodes, so she had some real praise for you on chapter 26. It was the sensitive episode. She was like, "Hey, Spike was cooking right here," So yeah.
Thank you. I appreciate your sis, man. I think I can find that. So didn't I send it to you on like Apple Music or something?
Yeah. It's on. Yeah, I got it.
It's on Apple Music.
Yeah.
Hold up, man.
Yeah, bro. I almost didn't recognize his voice. I was like, dang it,
Please, I need to hear that. That might be the intro. That might be the
intro.
Wild. we had Mo bars. We might need to Spike Lou bars, man.
Spike Lou bars.
Hey, man, listen, y'all out there, y'all hear the voices. I'm sure you're used to Spike Lou and myself at this point as far as book 2 goes, but you hear a very familiar voice. One of the architects of book 1, Maurice Hunt III, is in the building. We back for another week in the books. Book 2, chapter 8. Had to check in on our brother Mo, man. It's been a while. It's been a few months. You've been away from the brand. Welcome back, man. Welcome back.
Very happy to be here. Very happy to be here.
Good to have you. We got 2 generations in here.
Yeah, man. Got the
M4, man.
Yeah, the baby Mo over here.
No doubt, man. Mo, how you feeling, brother?
Man, I'm feeling good, man. This is one of those. This is a crazy recording week. It's just a crazy week altogether. Like, this is probably one of these super grind weeks, like crazy work. So I'm good though, but it's just a crazy work week.
I just want to let everybody know I'm not laughing at Mo right now, man. Spike just sent me. I can't wait to listen. To this.
I was so excited when he sent me that, bro.
Oh, snap, man. Oh, man. Crazy work week, though, man. Crazy recording week, work week, all of it. My bad.
All encompassing. Yeah, I mean, work ain't really as crazy, but it's just like my days start so early. They start at 5 a.m. You know what I mean? And it's just a mental hustle. Getting up in the morning, I got to get both the kids up. Sometimes I got to double back on the daughter because you know how we did growing up. Wake up, soon as they walk. Yep. And now I know, like, I'll use the bathroom before I even get going doing everything. No, I got to go double back real quick. Get up, and now she popping up, and then I got to, structure.
How do kids get that off, man? That's crazy.
Yeah.
Like, nigga, I just told you to get up. Like, what are you doing?
You was up and everything.
Why would you lay back down,
bro? Yeah.
That always fascinated me when I see parents. Like, why would that would piss me off? Because I couldn't do that. Like, there was never an opportunity in my life that I was able to do that. Nigga, I told you to get up. You better be up. Like, next time I come through here, we going out the door, bro.
Yeah, now we felt it. Don't get twisted. Like, there was, we felt it. Like, I never forgive my brother. We taking too long, and my mama came from behind, quietly hit him with the snipe with the cold rag. Ah, man, I'll never forget that. Yeah, she hit him like, now get dressed.
Hey, man, that's how you understand that differently when you're an adult.
Oh, absolutely.
Because ain't no leisure. Like, ain't no. I gotta be where I need to be.
I gotta be. Like, that's my whole.
Ain't nobody trying to hear my son was laying around. Nah, man. Everybody trying to hear that,
bro.
That's funny because you do have a whole different perspective when you grown, and like
it's serious.
Kids don't really get the concept of it. They thinking, it's my world. Y'all just living in it. Like, nah, little nigga, like, you better bring your ass home. Oh, that's
funny. It's funny you even say that, man, because that's something I've been this past week in particular. I know we talk obviously another week in the books. We talk about our past week and just the stuff that's been going on, and that's one thing I've been learning about myself or realizing it's come to fruition. I can't ignore it anymore. How time is of the essence. Mm-hmm. Like, for the first time, I had to say no to someone about something podcast related.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And I probably should have said no to people a while ago about different things.
Mm-hmm.
But I literally got a random call about this idea, and it's a great idea. And you want to, especially when it's people
mm-hmm.
Your fam, and you want to help out because you got the experience and you got the knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sitting there and I'm like, all right, thinking about it. And I took the weekend to think over it. And I was like, man, I just don't have the capacity for this right now. Like, right now, currently, as we sit right now in October of 2024, I have 6 active podcasts that I'm a part of. You know what I mean? And the first thing I notice it too in real life, because the first thing people ask me is like, "How are you? Are you doing anything for yourself? Do you have time for anything?" And it's like, "Nah, not for real." Like, and I'm trying to make that time, but also I have to be aware that I can't add anything else on my plate. And I felt it mentally. I was just like, I can't do this. Like, I can't. The idea of getting into something new, I'm cool with, and I got stuff I'm even working on, but I want to do it on my time, and I already know it's going to be pushed out until at least first quarter 2025. You know, at least, you know, maybe when Sopranos ends and stuff like that. But I know we still going to be cooking some other stuff. But it was just one of those moments where I was like, damn, I had to. You booked, bro. You gotta tell them. You gotta tell people relax. You gotta tell them chill. Even on the production side, like I have no problem producing for people, but even then, it's like that's still more time out of your day. Especially when you start to look at, as I talked about last week, your admin days and just day. When are you going to do these things you're saying you're doing? Like, there's only 24 hours in a day, and I know we live in grind culture, and everybody's on some, you know. I got a hoodie. I got a hoodie from the Nas, like the Hip Hop 50th. I was in New York, and I went to the Mass Appeal, like not an art show, but it was like a gallery exhibit, a bunch of like just classic hip hop photos, and they were selling merch. And there's a hoodie with the classic Nas lyric, "I never sleep, because sleep is a cousin of death." I got a hoodie. It's hard, and I'm just like, damn, man, I don't even want to live. I don't want to live that mentality.
That ain't my objective.
That's not my objective. It's a nice hoodie because it's upside down, and it's kind of like you look down at it, you can read it. So it was interesting. It's a nice hoodie too, material wise. But it's also, man, I need my rest. I gotta do this. And you know what else I learned about myself? That I gotta fix. And I don't know if I'm going to fix it, because it hasn't been a real detriment. But I was noticing when I was going to the airport, when I took that New York trip, I just had this sudden thought, like, man, you know what? I plan for best case scenario. You know what I mean? I plan that everything that I think is going to happen in the way that I need it to happen. Like, I really don't give myself too much wiggle room for like worst case scenario.
If it's fuck up,
something fucks up.
Totally
like,
different. Totally different.
Because it always, and you know why? Because it always works out. It always works out. You know what I mean? Like, I get through security, I'm walking to the gate, they boarded. Like, that's what I'm talking about.
That happened to me this week. I'd never do that. Like, bro, I try to get to the airport. I'm the one that want to get there. Like, I want to walk around. I get to my gate an hour early. And this week when I was going to Louisville, it was like I didn't realize that the boarding time. I just got it mixed up, and the boarding time and the flight taking off time are different. And I'm standing in line, and I got the text, and it's like, your flight is now boarded. And I'm like, oh shit, because I never cut it that close. And I'm still maybe 10 minutes behind in security. And I ain't even got up to the thing yet. So I was nervous as shit because I hate doing it. I always plan. Boy, airport is a really anxious place. I plan as if nothing's going to go right, so I give myself an hour and a half. I think the security line gonna be out the door. I think, nigga, they gonna change the gates, and I gotta go run to another gate, like all of that shit.
So it's funny. It's funny because I think technology is hurt in that sense. You can go online and check the security time at the airport and all that.
Sure can.
But you also, or not,
but
you,
see,
me,
this how bad
I don't
I
take
am,
into
though.
account how
I'm bad.
That might be.
Exactly. I'm saying I'm so bad, Rich. I put that in, and I don't believe that, because it said 27 minutes, and when I got there, the line was long as hell. And then I got that text, and I was near the back of the line. I was like, wait, 27 minutes, and they boarded now? I said, oh shit. But as soon as I got there, the second zone was loaded up, so I was good.
I will say this real quick. I've been to Jackson Hartfield enough. I'm not fucking around with them. That's the one airport in the country. I'm not fucking around with them.
That airport is an animal.
Yeah, I know the name of the airport. I don't even live in Atlanta. I ain't never lived in Atlanta. I ain't never lived south of Cincinnati. And I know exactly what that airport is. I know the type of beast it is.
It's an animal. Like, you got to
Hartsfield Jackson is not a hoe.
Yeah, like if you need to have a plan.
2.5 hours.
You better have a plan, nigga. Because from security to the gate, like going from security to the gate is what really get people. Because most airports not like that. When you get through security at Atlanta airport, nigga, it's a long way to them gates. Like you got to take a train or you got at least a 15 to 20-minute walk till you get to that gate. I seen Carlos. Carlos was behind me in the security line when I went this past week.
85 South.
Cool. Cool guy.
Yeah, he seemed like that.
Yeah, he was a real cool guy, cracking jokes in line. I spoke to him. He spoke back.
Dope.
Kept it moving. This airport, people knew him.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I hate TSA niggas. Gotta take your shoes off, Carlos. Take your shoes off. Like, nigga, shut up.
Like, now that's why I'm with you. Now that's why I'm with you. I know we always talk about this authority thing. I'm with you on that. Like, cause it's like, bro, I'm with you on that. Y'all doing the most. Like, bro,
they
you see
way too much.
Like, bro, you see, I got my son in one hand, got my daughter over here, bro. Then now you start getting the shakes because you're getting a little nervous. And so you're trying to make sure you don't get called out for anything. Don't forget to take anything off. Nothing that's going to revert you back to starting again. You know what I mean?
Hey, facts,
start from scratch,
bro. Listen, that we were going somewhere and we were running a little later than we wanted. I don't think we was about to board, but dude went through our stuff, and I guess my wife had some products that shouldn't have been in there, and so the dude like pulled us to the side. We was like, all right, you know. So now we're trying to do the politely rush him through. Like, hey, that's cool, bro. You can toss it. Yeah, that's cool, bro. You can toss it. Yeah, no, that's good. It's good. Like, but he's like, you know what you can do is you can go to Dollar Tree. You can get the potato. Like, but if you play around, mess around, and find out, and try to be rude, they gonna hold you up. So we're trying to be like, yeah. Right, man. I appreciate it. Like we're trying to move him through the thing. So yeah, bro. Like the airport.
I tell you what I hate. What I hate the most, Mo, is you can't ask them questions.
Nope.
Like sometimes you got to take your shoes off, sometimes you don't. Sometimes you got to take your laptop out, sometimes you don't.
Mm-hmm.
And when you ask them, it's never a response. They just shout it out. Laptops, iPads, all out of the bags. Like, nigga.
Yeah, because they probably do that all day.
They hate their job,
yeah,
bro. I'm convinced. I'm convinced.
They definitely.
But it is like Rich said, they do that shit all day, and you probably get some dickheads. Like I done been behind some dickheads in airport screening. So yeah, I kind of get it, but still, man,
yeah,
it takes a strong person to do that job. I wonder how much they make.
Not enough.
Probably not enough.
Not enough. I don't think they get. I don't get that because I don't. Nah. It can't be. It can't be, man. But Mo, you back in the building, man. Welcome back. Also, to everybody out there, it looks like the YouTube issue is fixed. I had it happening on multiple platforms, like other shows I'm a part of, where there were some issues uploading it. I was able to get it to work for Gridiron Jungle, and I started uploading the past 2 episodes of Another Week in the Books on YouTube, so they should be up. So you should, if you're a YouTube viewer, you should have 3 episodes to watch if you haven't already listened to the audio version. So just want to give that announcement. Still working on the once again going back to time and making sure you schedule it out and map the time out. Still working on the music. I started doing some homework, but I do need the legend Mo. I need another session. So I
thought you was that nigga. Like if he can do it, I can do it. I thought you was.
No, that is the case. I still have some technical questions. See, here you go.
Nigga, you said it. That's why I was like, oh, okay. All right, bro. That's cool.
But that's not how
you throw the intro on one of the episodes. I'm like, oh, okay. All right. Cool.
Hey, Mo hyping this shit. That's not exactly how the conversation went.
I know.
Yeah, I know, but it's still funny because it went a little bit like that. So that's why I'm laughing. Because you got me. You right.
Yeah, I'm listening to y'all. I'm tapped in. I'm dialed in. I'm listening to y'all. I'm listening.
Oh well, that's a perfect segue, man. I'm curious to know now that you've. Well, first, before we even get into that, how have you been, my brother? How have you been? And we know obviously because we talk to you all the time. But how have you been since stepping away, since closing the chapter on book 1? How things been for you, man?
It's one of those things where, you know, it was a bittersweet thing because of, you know, the beauty and what we were creating. And I always go back to what Sean Wash says. It's like a revolutionary thing. You know what I'm saying? I like that wording. So that was always a bittersweet, but to be honest, I think it was one of the better decisions I made.
In what sense?
In the sense that when I spoke about it on the chapter 100 and spoke about the effect it has on me versus how you think it would be, I realized how much, you know, it weighed on me, you know, in some regards, and along with other undealt with issues that, you know, eventually I will be seeking a therapist for with those things. But yeah, it was a heavy it was a heavier responsibility than I could imagine. And it's still a lot to do. Like this is still a lot of work, but I would say that it was the right decision for my mental. It was definitely the right decision. So for me, it's been good in the sense that it's in good hands between you two brothers. Y'all still waving the flag, and y'all tapping into other nooks and crannies of things that me and Spike probably couldn't have talked about because of our different personalities. So it's been good.
I know Spike has some stuff, but I gotta ask you a question because I'm curious to know your outlook on it, especially given how much sweat equity you put into book one, and really getting this thing to a special place with Spike Lee.
Mm-hmm.
Being that involved, right? So for me, I was on the other side. I was a fan. I could step in and co-author a couple chapters, and that was it. I never felt the responsibility of the week-to-week task of this.
Mm-hmm.
I can only imagine stepping away from Culture Guard and having to watch somebody else. It might be a little bit of like ducking 5 Heartbeats. Like, man, that's my music, man. Like,
that's my music.
Yeah, I might have to bump you off the piano. Like, nah, man, because I'm very hands-on when it comes to things that I'm like creating. It's different if I'm just being asked to come in. I want to know how do you look at how you think things have been going since you step away from the mic from a viewer and a listener's perspective of another week in the books, because I'm too into it to really observe and think about like how this looks from the outside looking in. I'm just focused on what me and Spike doing, the goals we got, the things that we trying to accomplish. So how does it feel, or can you even gauge it because of what I just said? Were you too involved in book one, or were you like, I don't even know how to properly answer that question?
No, because I'm a fan of myself. So
I love that. I love that.
I'm a fan of my work. You know what I'm saying? And that's not in obviously, I know me, it's not in like some braggadocio way, but I take a lot of pride in the spots that I'm able to be a part of. I try to heighten it. I don't care if I got to give y'all an announcement to say, hey, this is not happening this week. I'm giving gems in my mind every time I create, so I got to be able to have moments to reflect in real time and then I'll reflect later. So yeah, no, it doesn't make it difficult. To be on this side of it, I don't know.
I'm talking about you listening to Spike and myself. How do you feel about the product?
I feel like the product, like I said, I think y'all's is a lot more of a call to action. I think y'all's is it produces a little bit more of footwork, groundwork. Like let's like real life movement type stuff. Like, yo, let's actually move on these things. And me and Spike's, what we did, that book one wasn't the purpose. I think the purpose in book one was to kind of recalibrate the minds of Black men. You know what I'm saying? We all needed a recalibration, and I guess we didn't know that until
that is a great way to put it.
Yeah, we started looking like, damn, I guess I ain't called my homeboy. Dang, I guess I do. I didn't look at that with my girl, or women, or Black women, or we needed kind of needed a reboot, so to speak. And this is now after the reboot. Now it's like, okay, let's get to the programming. You know what I'm saying? So listening to it, I like what y'all do. I was a big fan of what y'all did, I think 2 episodes ago. Y'all came to like a real time epiphany.
The happy and the it ain't about you moment.
Yeah, that you made a statement, Spike, as well. Like you said something along the lines of, I got enough things that serve me. Like,
yeah,
let me serve the people. And y'all was like, damn, y'all was like, bro. And then I love that Spike did the callback to like, just like when Mo said, like, oh, we about to put these blazers on for good earners. And it's like, the point being, it's like, okay, yeah, I don't do this, but for it services the product, and so kind of, in this space, I think we put so much stake in I'm the product, but sometimes you're not the product. The product is its thing, and you're driving it. So do what's best for the product instead of gauging everything from, oh, I'm the product, that don't line up with me. You know what I mean? So
That was one of the best realizations that I came from this.
Yeah.
Like since we've been doing it so far, me and Rich, 100%. Like
Yeah.
I was, I ain't mean to cut you off. Would you
Oh, you go ahead. Go ahead.
to go back like what Rich saying, what we learned throughout the week? I was saying a little bit on Good Earners about I'm still reading that The Monk Who Sold His Ferrari, and I'm on like chapter 8 or some shit. And I was listening to it Sunday as I was traveling back into town, and it was just like a part in it that I just could not get out of my head. I had a dream about this shit. And he asked the dude, and he was like, "Bro, what?" You know how the book goes as far as the rhetoric. The two dudes are talking, and for the people who will know that to listen like this, it's a general conversation from two dudes, and one guy's telling a fable and how he got to be this at this place in life where he was, for lack of a better word, content with what he was doing and his mindset. And the guy was asking him different questions about how he got there, because he was once this powerful lawyer and he took some time off, went on a sabbatical, went on this retreat, met these monks in the woods or whatever it may be. And the guy who was asking him, trying to be enlightened from the guy that went to see the monks, the guy that went to go see the monks, he asked the guy, he was like, "Bro, what's your purpose in life?" And as teenagers and young men, we used to joke with each other when we would like get mad or somebody would do something dumb. Like, "Bro, what's your purpose in life?" Like just fucking with people. But that stuck with me because I had to ask myself, and I really didn't know. Like when he was asking the guy that, and the guy was kind of stumped as well. And I was thinking about it. It was like, well, what is your purpose? And that's one of the things when you were talking about your week, Rich, and what you've learned that I've been thinking about all week, as far as just trying to chisel down on my purpose. Like, what is it even inside of this? Because podcasting and doing media, what we do, it's a profession. It's not a purpose. So there has to be a purpose laced within that in order for these things to work and us to feel like that we're doing what we need to be doing with this. Like even with, and what made me think of is what Mo just said, is like we're not servicing ourselves, we're servicing the people. So even with the content that Rich and I talk about, we struggle to create. I think that goes back to what I heard in the book. And it's like, well, what's your purpose behind the content? What are you trying to tell people? What do you want them to know you for? And that's one thing that I've really been thinking about that I don't have an answer to as of yet, but it's been on the like I said, I've had dreams about it this week because I listened to it several times over, and I just wanted to throw that in there. Made me think about that when you said that, Mo.
Yeah.
If
These conversations are driving things like that. That's what to wrap it up.
I'm curious to know, Spike, if you made a pie chart of what you spend, not necessarily doing, not what you spend your time doing, but what you spend your time thinking about throughout the week, what percentage of that would be podcasts?
70%, maybe even more. At least that's at the least. That's me being modest. 70%.
I figured as much, and yeah, I'm about to say that's actually a little bit lower than what I thought you would have said, because it goes into what you just said. You get caught up. Not you. We all as people, we get caught up in what we're doing. Like podcasting, like you said, that's something we do. Yep. It's not necessarily who we are or what our purpose is. I would love to say that I could flip it and say I'm spending 70% on my purpose and then the rest of the time on these other things. But I think it ties into what you just said, Spike. Like, what is my purpose? It kind of ties into that conversation we had about happiness and what is happiness and what does that mean? And that's something we all searching for. And that's why The Monk Who Sold His Ferrari. There's some other books. I know Mo, I downloaded the Russ book.
I'm gonna listen to that Russ book tomorrow. It's only an hour and 25 minutes, so I'll knock that out on my flight.
Yeah, so all of that stuff is more so, all right, I think you got to find that first. You got to get it to the foundation. Like, what's the purpose? And then build everything around it. And that's why right now, and it's funny you even mentioned it, Mo. I know you said this before, so we knew, but to the audience, you just mentioned about in the process of finding a therapist, I'm on the same thing because, therapists are like doctors, in my opinion. Like, you don't go to the same doctor for different ailments. Like, you don't go to the primary physician for if you have eyesight problems. You know what I mean? Like, you got to find the correct doctor. And I need a therapist specifically for reorganizing and recalibrating life. Like, really trying to build this up, because you get in a space to where you got so much going on. And all right, I never used to understand why people had personal assistants. That never made sense to me. And it never made sense why people just wouldn't go out to the store themselves or get these little ancillary things themselves. Like, just run up the street. It ain't no thing. Now I understand how convenient it is to have everything you need brought to you, and how convenient it is to have somebody itinerize your day. And
you get to focus on your purpose.
You get to focus on your purpose. And now I'm trying to say, all right, then maybe I need to start looking into that lane, because I need somebody to help me prioritize what it is that I even really want and what's important to me right now. And that's the key thing right now in life, because right now, unfortunately, I do have to be selfish in some areas.
Yeah.
In order to reach the goal. Because don't get me wrong, even if it's not my purpose or not, this is something I really care about. Like I care about this. It brings me joy doing this, creating. But I also know I need to have some more balance too. I need to make room for the other things.
That was one of the first things I thought about when you said you had to turn down some stuff this week, Rich. Like, that's the reason that people have teams. Because I love doing this shit. So I'll say yeah to everything. Yeah. But I need somebody around me that can be like, nah, you can't do that, bro.
Yep.
Like, it's not possible. And if you need me to tell them, I'll tell them, but you can't do that. Like, you don't have the bandwidth to do that. And now I understand more. Like, I used to think that was lame. Like, I talk to my manager and we'll talk to my people. You'll talk to your people and we'll figure it out. Dang. If you really moving and hitting on our cylinders, you have to do that, because you get so engulfed in what you're doing. And I can bear witness to this. Like, you can just say, I'll say yes to anything, especially if it's good. There's people that I like y'all, or that I work with Dead End, or if AB asked me to do something, like, yeah, of course I'm going to do it. But then I need people around me, or someone who's has the vision in mind to be like, nah, bro, you can't do that, because you said you was going to do this, and you're supposed to be doing this, and you're trying to find this out, and like you don't have time to do that.
Yeah, you gotta need that. You because the thing is about, we talked about, I like the Monk book and kind of cliff notes I've been given, and I always go back to that on the porch episode. You know what I mean? And I just, that is one of them episodes that'll probably always live in my head, just the concept of it. But like, it's about minimizing. Like, I'm all about cutting corners. Like, our time goes so fast with me. I'm all about cutting corners. If I'm eating at a restaurant, like the other day, we at Olive Garden, and you know what? Oh, babe, look, they got bottomless pasta. In my mind, I've already worked the play. $13.99. I know what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna eat this first pasta. I'm gonna go through this nice. The second one, guess what? It's for lunch. I'm gonna make sure I get this. Now I ain't gotta cook. Now I ain't gotta cook the next day. Yeah, I ain't gotta cook the next. Boom. That's Monday. Let's move on. Boom. My daughter pack her own lunch. Boom. That's out of the way. Now I ain't gotta worry about that. Boom. His bag packed. Like, it's about cutting corners, bro. I don't care if I'm gaining minutes. I'm cutting corners where I can. I need it all. Like, that is that serious. So when you talk about, having to say no, saying I need more time, I can't do all of these things, bro. It's about the minutes. You need the minutes. Like, you need it. Like, it's like we're maximizing so much, you don't get that time to yourself. And that's why we are so bogged down mentally. You're not creating time for yourself. You need those minutes.
You preaching, because in the book, that's a part of it. Like, in order to find your purpose, you have to take time to yourself. You have to sit there for 5 to 10, up to 20 minutes a day and collect your thoughts. And if I'm running from thing to thing to person, I'm trying to help this person. I'm doing this for my wife. I'm doing this for my kid. I'm doing this for my mom. I'm doing this for me. And then I got to go do the work that I actually get paid for in order to survive in this life. If you don't have 20 minutes to yourself a day to just sit and reflect and think, then you're doing something wrong.
Yeah.
I just learned that in this book.
Yep.
And some days I don't have those 20 minutes. And I'm like, well, I'm doing something wrong then. Because you need that to recap, like what Rich said, like just to gather my thoughts together, to figure out how I was feeling. Like, if I had to say no to something, how did that make me feel? Did I feel like I was missing out on something? Or did I feel like there was a blessing that I've grown enough to be able to say no to something? And now I got to deal with that thought and see how I come out on the other end, so I can continue to make the right decisions. Like, you gotta have 20 minutes a day to yourself. You have to.
And that's the minimum.
That's just learned that. Yeah, that's the minimum. You're right, Mo. That's the bare minimum. And I just thought about that and processed this week and tried to implement it.
Yeah.
Like I'm trying to figure out workout times and trying to figure out meal prep times, and you got to record at this time. And you work from this to this, and travel time is this.
Yeah.
But when I heard him say that in that book, as I'm listening to it, I'm like, damn, just like the 20 minutes. They called it the rose therapy. I'm sure you know the terminology. It's like the rose meditation. Like what they suggested that you take a rose and you just stare at the heart of the rose for 20 minutes, or try to get up to 20 minutes per day just looking at it and just be with your thoughts. But you could do that just meditating with your eyes closed or whatever it may be. That's just how they recommended it in the book. And as they were saying it, it hit me like a ton of bricks. I'm like, bro, I don't ever get to do that, and I have to do that.
And I think part of it too is because that 20 minutes is so valuable to people like us who always have something to do. Because I can use that 20 minutes to do something else. I can get a quick nap in. That's one of the things that's I think is.
See, that's why I try to lie to myself. I try to lie, act like that nap is it. At that nap, I'm gonna take these little 20 minutes and close my eyes, and I'll doze off, and that's the 20 minutes that I did for meditation. That's not the same.
Nah, that's not the same. Hell no, that's not the same.
There's I ain't gonna say there's no intentionality in napping, but it's very little intentionality in napping.
Other than getting rest.
That's necessity. Like
I'm getting rest.
Eating is not intentional. Like that's necessity. Like
so the thing is, that's the one thing I say. People, even with people who care about you, who love you, who understand, I don't think they'll process the importance of that me time and how rare it is from place to place. Like, so when you running around all week doing X, Y, and Z, and then you have the time to where, all right, now I have some free time. Do I want to spend this kind of taking that time to process and catch up on my own thoughts? Or do I want to get right back into the people that I care about and spend that time with them? Because they've been trying to catch up. They've been trying to link. And a lot of times it's like, man, I got to be I need this time for me. I need it. Like emphasis on I need this time.
I need it.
Like I can go. And I know we say like once you go to the event, that's cool. Like you feel good. And I do. I feel good about it. But there's also a feeling of going hard Monday through Friday. Starting your errands on Saturday morning, do whatever you need to do. And then you might have some time Saturday night, you might have some time Sunday morning, and then as soon as you do it, all you're thinking about is, damn, it's about to be Sunday night. I got to start getting ready for the week. I got to start getting ready for the grind again. I barely had any time to do some of the stuff I said I was going to do this weekend, unless you blow somebody off like, hey, man, I ain't got time, or I ain't going to be able to see y'all, or you limit it, and it's kind of pointless. Like, yeah, I got 30 minutes. I got an hour. Like, ain't nobody trying to hang for no hour. Like,
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I'll just catch you next time then. And it's like, nigga, ain't no next time. This is life. This is how my shit looks.
Yeah, no, man, that's crazy. This is how it looks. Look, and again, because for me, it's all about, like, for example, like, because I'm gonna talk about another thing about like cutting corners. I remember a dude told me, like, in this space, like, I remember he said, I schedule everything. And then he would be like, yeah, I don't have time for that. Or he'll turn down doing something because it wouldn't benefit from a monetary standpoint. Because he already was starting to get monetary gain elsewhere. To the point he stopped doing all the other stuff. And it's like, no, I'm just going to hone in on this. This it. Because I don't have the time it takes to be able to actually gain over here. And this one thing, I'm not going to do all these other things. This is the lick. It's just like I got to tell everybody, hey, look, hey, you know what I mean? Like, so, but going back to the time thing, cutting corners, another thing that to me that helps is you got to layer things. Oh, I can do this and this, boom. Like I'll do that a lot too. So really I got the trifecta for real. Like, oh, we got to eat anyway. We ain't got to cook when we get home. I got an additional meal, so I don't have to cook for later for tomorrow at work, and I get to make the wife happy or make the whole family happy. Boom. I layered 3 things. Boom. You know what I'm saying? So like everything I'm doing, I'm trying to layer it all. It's like, okay, like now I'm podcasting, but I have him. So I'm like, okay, if I could take that off her plate. I mean, she's working with our daughter on a project, but like if I could take that off her plate, that gives her, okay, now she got a little more on that, so I could do 2 things at once. You know what I mean? So that's what I find myself doing is trying to layer, because what happens is if you do that enough, you're gonna have a nice window set up later. Where he's like, dang, I guess I did do all that. I did like you've done with Ray and Spike. I've done 2 podcasts a day. Like, dang, okay, cool. You know, I even though you might have traveled or whatever, but eventually you may just do it like, yo, I'm just gonna go and do it so I can actually have this later time, you know, so you'll start really accumulating a nice window for yourself. where it'd be more than 20 minutes. Nigga, I think the other day I had a whole day to not a whole day to myself, but I had hours. And I was like, you know what? I'm not mixing nothing today. I'm not doing nothing. And I was about to convict myself. And I was like, no, I'm good. I've built out grace in my schedule now because of cutting corners and layering. So I'm like, all right, cool. Now I can do this and not feel guilty about watching. Nigga, I'm binging now. Reasonable Doubt. I got time. I could do that now. You know what I mean? This is coming from a person that has a family. You know what I mean? So I got them taken care of. I got this stuff taken care of, and I can peacefully do that. You know what I mean?
I can't tell you the important. Y'all probably can't see it because of the virtual background, man. I got this planner that I bought because I realized maybe 2 months ago, right when we started this book, I was like, I really need something that's going to help me plan my day, and not just the scheduling stuff, but literally, to your point, Spike. Do I have an hour in my day to where I can plan a nap? I plan my free time.
Mm-hmm.
Where I said this time is to do whatever I want to do. I might have a 3-hour block on this Saturday to do whatever. If I want to lounge around on the couch and do nothing, watch games, I can do that. If I want to play the game, I can do that. If I want to meet up with people, I can do that. But this time is allotted for that, and it helps you be a lot more intentional, at least for me, and it helps me get my tasks done that I said I was going to do, right? And I think we talked about this a little bit, but taking things piece by piece. Yeah, we definitely had, because I remember telling Spike, especially when it came to like working out, you have a goal in your head, you have a vision in your head. Like, all right, man, I want to walk these 3 miles, which I know is going to take an hour. Well, damn, now it's late, or I ran over. I know I ain't got this hour in me. So instead of doing the 15 minutes or the 20 minutes, I'll just say, nah, I'm cool. Like, I'll just restart tomorrow. Like, nah, do those 15, 20 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
And it just helps you, like, all right, I said I was going to do this within this time. Let me make sure. Make sure I'm on it so I can make sure I utilize my free time the way I want to. You know what I mean? Piece by piece, little by little. I want to ask y'all real quick. Are you, would you consider yourself neat and organized?
Yeah, I would say I'm organized. Yeah,
I'm not. It's one of my biggest flaws.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of the things I dislike about myself.
I'm like abstract organized person.
What?
So everything.
As only Mo could explain it. Go ahead, Mo.
Like it look messy to everybody else, but he know where.
Yeah, basically, like
it makes sense.
Yeah, like
I try to lie to myself and say that I'm like that, Mo, but it's just messy.
You lying like a bug.
I'm lying. I ain't saying that that's you.
No, I know what you mean.
I had to take the realization to it. Like, one of the things that I want to be better at is being organized and neat.
Mm-hmm.
Just even if for nothing else than appearance purposes. Because when I see people that are like organized and neat, I'm so impressed. I'm so like, man, this motherfucker got it together, bro. Like, this nigga got everything color coded in the goddamn book, you know, all of this. And I love that shit, but I feel like you have to be anal to be that way. Like, you got to be very like just anal and like every little thing. And I don't want to be like that, but I do appreciate the end product.
You know what? I think that makes the difference. Y'all talked about, you know, a little bit of producing on, off air, being on air talent, you know, things like that. I think when you're put in a place where so much is contingent on you, it will force your organization. Because it's one thing like, okay, I have a responsibility. Let's just say in this space, I have a responsibility. They're depending on me and expecting me to be here, show up and perform, do my job that I've agreed to do. That helps you be at least somewhat organized as far as, okay, I can meet this schedule, I can meet this commitment. But when so much more falls on you, where it's like, oh nah, I gotta, you know, nigga, I gotta be the one. I gotta, let's just say, I gotta get guests every week myself, or I gotta structure this, I gotta upload this joint, now you gotta start being more organized, because more, to whom much is given, much is required. And so I think in some senses, the way things have been for you, you have been capable. I think that you've been able to get by on maybe not being as organized as you would like, because the responsibility level hasn't been to the degree that it leans to. So you can do that, like you said. I think I can just get on the mic and just do this. Like, oh, now I just
me, yeah.
Just in general, yeah.
With nothing that I do, the end product is not up to me. Like y'all hit me the other day, it was like, why on deck ain't nothing? I was like, well, hey, that ain't my job. Like, I don't know why it's not up, nigga. I'm like, I can check and I'll let you niggas know in a minute. But yeah, you're right. That's a really good observation. And that's one of those things where I was telling Rich last week when shout out to Dro, he texted me. He was like, bro, you need to get out of your own way. And like if those are the things Travis Hunter was a comparison that he used, a football player for Colorado. More, I'm not sure if you're aware of him, but he plays defensive back and he plays wide receiver. And he's like, well, bro, you can be a great wide receiver. However, if it takes you to be a great wide receiver and a great defensive back for you to be fully optimizing your potential, then you need to learn how to do that. Like you need to learn how to do like what you just said, Mo. Like if in production ain't your thing, and you think in production is holding you back from taking it the next step, then you need to figure out what in production looks like and take some of that responsibility on. So yeah, that's one of the things that stays on my mind. Because like you said, I do it. Yeah, exactly. Cross-train. I do excel in the things that I do, but I could add more to be more successful in the field.
I think all of this ties together. And the reason I even brought up the tidiness, because I've always been in the mindset, you know, cluttered space, cluttered life. Right?
Yeah, I get that.
My space is cluttered, my thoughts are cluttered, everything else is cluttered. Versus when you're in a clean, nice environment, you know, things change. The way you look at things change, and that pressure of having to, I gotta clean, I gotta straighten this shit up, or even an unannounced visitor, somebody hit you up, yo, I'm about to swing through. Like, damn, like now I gotta take some time to organize. You know, I'm talking about the people you can't say no to. It's like, all right, let me go ahead and do this. And now you spending time that you could have just been doing something else, like getting your shit together, you throwing stuff together. I bring this up because when I was in New York, shout out to my brother Corey, man. He's one of the most, and he's extremely successful. He's also extremely organized. And just you walk into his space and it's like on some movie shit. It's just clean. Like it's very minimalistic as well. And that's another thing. He don't just got stuff just to have it.
Yeah, boy.
And it made me look, when I came back, it made me look at like, damn, do I really need this? Like how long I've been looking at this and never used it, never picked it up? How long I've been looking at this in my closet and never worn it, and just start really decluttering your life. And one thing that I noticed, or you know, you talked about being anal, I kind of look at it a little bit different because to me, it makes you do what you say you're gonna do right away. You don't have no time to be chilling, right? Because we all know people that I'll get them dishes tomorrow. Like, nah, do the dishes now. That way, when you do them, they done.
Yep.
I think Spike, you said something that it take 5 minutes or however many less.
Don't ever put off anything that takes 5 minutes or less.
Yeah, like just do it now. Like just take that out now. Take the trash out now. All of that, and it just
all those. I was just gonna say, in all those self-help books, that's one of the best tips that I've gotten. Like anything that you can do in 5 minutes or less, do not put that shit off. Do it right now.
The hard part is getting to ground zero, right? The hard part is getting to the spot where you have gotten everything out the way, right? I've thrown everything out, I've organized everything I want to. It's going to be easy to maintain it once you get there, but getting there is that difficult part. And that's like, all right, I came back focused on some, all right, then what can I get out of my life? What can I declutter? And this doesn't have to even be physical items. This could be people. This can be whatever. Like what's cluttering my life right now that I need to get rid of to help me be the best version of myself?
And from a mental standpoint, it's so helpful because the things that clutter your life, you're putting that shit off. And the longer you put that shit off, it's not going anywhere, so it stays on your mind. And those are the things that you think about when you get those 20 minutes that we talked about. That's the shit that start popping up in your head. Oh shit, I gotta clean up my room. Oh shit, I gotta do this. Oh shit, I gotta do that. Because I've been putting that shit off for so long. Or I've been putting that shit off consistently, and now I can't stop thinking about it. Not at the front of my mind, but at the back of my mind, which is even worse. Exactly, which is even worse. Because now these new thoughts can't come through. The purpose that I'm looking for in life, these things, when I take my 20 minutes, I can't get those thoughts through clearly because I'm thinking about all the bullshit that I didn't do. Like, oh, I said I was going to clean this. So I said I was going to wash this out. I said I was going to clean up this room or do this to the car. All of these things that you keep putting off, they just sit in the back of your mind. And then that keeps you from being at your full potential in the sense of when I'm sitting here for these 20 minutes, if you could think, oh, I've done all of this shit already. Okay, what's next? Now you got this type of hype and this type of like, I'm doing it. I'm bodying it. Because it's what people don't understand. And it took like, again, shout out to that book. Like I really would recommend everybody that's listening to this, listening to Monk the Soda's Ferrari, because that's one of the things that the guy said. Because once you clean all of that clutter out, that opens your mind up for the next phase, for the next steps. Because now you're sitting here for them 20 minutes, you're not having to think about all the shit that you didn't do, and you can think about all of the shit that you want to do, all the shit that can change the trajectory of where you're trying to go, what you're trying to do. And you can think about that shit clearly because it ain't nothing on your mind that's bogging you down and holding you back. And we think it ain't nothing. We think, oh, it's just some clothes on the floor. It's just like, you know what I'm saying? It's just like a dirty car. Like it don't really mean that much in the everyday science of things, but it really does. Because once you get that shit out of the way, you can open your mind up for the other stuff.
Yeah, you're hitting it on the nose. And, you know, the realization kicked in. A couple of realizations that hit me recently. Like, we were talking about birthdays and stuff, and I was like, yeah, man. And then I'm like, dang, bro, that's crazy. Like, can you believe it? I said, bro, next year I'll be 35. And then it was like an echo in the room. I was like 30. I mean, obviously, I know y'all older than 35, so y'all already been through that phase. But that was the first. But that first realization is like, okay, nigga, now it's like 35. And I stopped. I said, 35. Nigga, it's over.
That shit real.
I said, it hit me so. I said, nigga, it's over. Like you're looking this way now. Ain't no more looking. You're looking this way. And so, and then that was one realization. Second realization is I have been going hard. Like I've been a nigga to get a lot of stuff because I've been doing this for a while. Later, like, no pun intended. I've been doing this for a while. Sorry, I didn't. Yeah. Anyway,
I've been on this thing for a while. Yeah. You didn't know my pain.
Yeah. Sorry, it hit me real time. But no, like I've been, as far as the layering things and figuring out how to cut corners so I could get more. But now, it just hit me one day where I realized like it's taking me longer to do things, not putting it off, but physically doing it. I realized I'm slowing down because it's eating at me all of the things that I'm trying to get done. So it really forces me now to legit work smarter, not harder, because I can't do as much as I used to get so much done in a day, but it requires a lot. Obviously, having a newborn kind of slows you down a little even more. So that realization kicked in. I said, okay, I got to start figuring out how to do this thing smarter. And again, it's that using the word no. Like that word no is a viable thing you should use. Like I have to be like, no, I can't. Like, you know, I could, but I can't.
I feel like you take a little pride in that too, though, bro. Like I feel like you like saying no. Yeah, I feel like you like it. Like I feel like you get off a little bit to saying no. Like you were telling the story about my man doing the driving. Like, nah, I ain't riding with you, bro. Like, nope. I
don't get off on it. I don't get off. I don't have a problem.
Kind of like your personality. It's not a knock or anything.
No, I know
feel like
it's
kind of your personality.
Like I'm a no man.
Yeah, I'm gonna be difficult right now. If ain't nobody gonna be difficult, nigga, I'm gonna be difficult right now.
I have been.
Ain't nobody else gonna speak their mind. I'm gonna speak mine.
I will speak my mind. I mean, I'm not gonna go out my way with it, but like, when I was young, I definitely did. But I learned a lot.
Ain't
since
no wrong
then.
with that, though.
But yeah, but I am the person.
I've learned a lot from you in that sense and trying to do that more.
What doing what? So, like just be upfront or what?
Like not just being upfront, like nah, nigga, I'm not doing that. Like, I say that in my type of way, but
right, your own way.
How you do it, like just you saying, giving more reasoning to it. I think more people don't get standoffish from me when I say no. They just think it's me stuck in my ways. Like when, when you told me before we did the good earns the other week, like, hey, bro, I know how you feel about religion.
Yes.
Please spare me. It was funny. I didn't take any offense to it, but it was funny to how you thought to take time out to say that, to think that I would do something that would be like, oh man, this is gonna offend somebody. Like I wouldn't do that.
Yeah.
But a lot of people think that about me as far as my personality and how brash I can be at sometimes. Like, this nigga ain't finna have no filter. Like he finna like just.
Well, you got to still remember we're only getting so much of a version of y'all.
Facts.
You know, we'll get so much of a version of Kyron, so much of a version of Spike. Well, you know what I mean? So it's like there's still another layer or 2 or 3 or 15 that we're not fully. I mean, nobody's fully exposed out here, obviously, but I talked about that being like masks and stuff like that. Y'all,
that's one of the episodes that we're gonna do. Like, who can you be? Like, I think it's going to be really interesting conversation that we're going to be able to have, Rich, as far as like, who is that person, if you have that person that you can just be yourself around? Like, just like, because
The worst version.
it ain't Mom Dukes. And I would assume, and if I'm overstepping here, just tell me, Mo, like, if I ever get married, I would want my wife to be that person.
She is.
That's why I'm not married.
She is.
And I've never met that girl.
I've shared some things.
After that story, Good
right.
Earnings yesterday.
Good point, Rich.
That's
Good
gotta
point.
be.
That ain't even scratching the surface.
Like I said, man, that's not Batman. No pun intended.
I've never felt that comfortable around anyone. So that's probably when I'm like,
well, you got to think about. There's a lot of factors that play into that. Like, as far, like it's the reps of I wake up with you, sleep with you. You know,
this is my family. That's your family that you've created. And one of the things for me that it's hard for me to see me being that vulnerable with anybody. Like, it's hard for me to see that. Like, my friend, like, I think to put a little spoiler on the conversation that Rich and I will have about that, my friends probably get the most honest version of me, because you want to be this way in front of your moms. When you're dating, you want to be this way in front of the girl that you're dating. When you're at your job, you want to be this certain way in front of the people that you're working with, working for, or, may have to tell what to do, or they may need to tell you what to do. So there's a certain thing that you hold back. But with my friends that I've had for the longest time, those people probably know me the best. But that still ain't like
that. But being honest versus vulnerable. Honest versus vulnerable. Obviously different things. So like that's the last layer that unlock is if you do so choose at some point. I mean, I don't think you're going to choose based on what you've been saying here, but if you so choose that to take that step at some point in your life, that it takes so many. I mean, it took so much time. Like, I didn't trust her like that. I couldn't share things with her like that. And just as time goes on, and I see you every time we've argued, we've made up, we've argued, we've made up. Then now we're building, and now we have a child. We just constantly that progress is happening. It's slow motion, but it's happening. After a while, I'm like, damn, you really got my back. You just see these little nudges. That's why I always talk about the nudges. It's these little nudges, and eventually that nudge that it'll pass that finish line, and that's the next chapter. And where we going, then we share something. Then you find out she'll share something like, damn, you too? I thought that was just in my family. I thought that was just a childhood thing from what I've witnessed. You too? Then now now you're going in a deep rabbit hole, and it brings y'all so much closer because you realize we're not that much different, for one, and for two, I can trust you. You know what I mean? When I can trust you, that's what makes me comfortable. If I get teary-eyed or stuff, I still don't want her to see me cry. But I when the hurricane hit, like that first day I was in shambles. I was pushing through, trying to stay optimistic, be a strong man. And that first day was so challenging for me because I didn't know what to do as a man. I couldn't change the situation. I couldn't change the scenario with them. And I was just trying to hold myself together the best way I could. But there were moments I had to just look out the window. The tear come down because I'm just like, damn, this is no power, no nothing. My babies,
Let's talk about that. That's a perfect transition. And that's always, you talk about the trust part. That's what I always felt when song Love with Kendrick on the Damn album. When he said, keep it 100, I'd rather you trust me than to love me. Like, I understood exactly what he meant when he said
trust me than to love me.
Yeah, because it's kind of one of the same, right? Trust and love is almost like they right there.
They are.
You have to be more
like what means more? Would I rather have someone tell me they trust me, or have them tell them they love me? Or
you got to be more vulnerable to trust someone than you do to love someone, because love is under your like this is, I love you because of these things. But trust is something totally different in the sense of,
do you trust anybody you don't love?
Yeah, I'm putting it in your hand. Yeah, I think you can trust somebody without loving them.
Okay,
I'd have to sit down.
But I don't think you can love somebody. I don't think you could love somebody without trusting them.
That ain't true. I don't think, because y'all got cousins you love, but you do not trust them niggas.
Mike, like, do I really love?
Look, he
love them niggas?
Let me think about it.
Unless it's like what DMX said. Rest in peace to DMX when he said,
I'm talking about
trust them to be them. Remember what he said? Like,
Okay, good point. Y'all right. Because I had too many examples in my head. Was like, yeah.
Like, I got cousins. Like,
I love the nigga, but I don't trust him like that.
Right. Like, and again, trust is subjective, I guess, of how far you can go with trust. Like, I trust you to be you. Like, that's what DMX was saying, kind of like,
Oh yeah. I think that's 100%. Mo, you kind of alluded to it, and I think it's a perfect time to just kind of get into that part of the conversation. Part of the reason that, other than we just miss your presence here on another week in the books.
Thank you, brother.
But yeah, absolutely, man. We knew, obviously you were affected. You're in the Tampa area with Hurricane Milton, and I believe there's another hurricane in the area.
Helene, before that, the week before. Yep,
Helene, and then Milton. And we were talking last week before we were recording Good Earners. We're recording something. I can't remember what we was talking about, but I just remember I was having a convo. Said, man, you need to come on so we can kind of talk about that and talk about what it's like to. I've never lived through a hurricane. Well, no, I've never lived through a hurricane or a tornado or any kind of natural disaster of that sort. And for some people, part of the country is common and it's normal. But that's you'll never get, and I'm sure you being a Midwesterner, growing up 90 minutes west from where I grew up, that can never be normal. That should never be. Nobody should ever have to be subjected to that as a normal way of living, like hurricane season and shit like that. So I know you well enough to know that you're gonna push through, but I also know you well enough to know that affected you.
Yeah,
I could just hear it in your voice. Like I can hear it. And I didn't want to, it's such a personal thing because you have a family and you got people you're responsible for. I didn't want to dig into it because it seemed like you were still trying to figure it out yourself. How was that experience for you, specifically from you wear the title of husband, dad, head of household very proudly. There's nothing you can do about a tornado or a hurricane or a tropical storm. There's nothing you can do about it. Like nothing. Unless you Iron Man and we don't know. You know, you might be an Avenger or some shit. We don't know it. But outside of that, there's nothing you can actually do. How did that make you feel being that vulnerable and knowing you got your babies, you got your family, and we just got to ride this thing out? You talk about those moments, you got to look out the window on your own. It's just like, man, let me get this glory tear off and get back to being strong for my fam.
Yeah.
How has that been? And do you ever have time throughout the day, as we talk about making your time and being intentional with it? Did you ever have time where you had some moments to yourself where you can get that cry out, you can get that vulnerability out? Like how the past month or past few weeks been for you, Mo?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I'm always, if I feel I'm going there, like in an emotional sense, that's the emergency button. Like when I feel like I'm getting emotional because something is out of my hands and it's affecting me like in a real heavy way. It's an emergency button. I gotta go for a walk. I gotta get it off. I don't hold that stuff back.
Real quick, before you even answer the question that I just asked, I am curious about something. You just talked about the trust and the vulnerability and the openness that you shared with your wife, which is a beautiful thing. Why do you feel like you can't cry in front of your wife?
Oh, I do. I cry.
No, not. I mean, ugly, like the full cry, the ugly tear cry. We talked.
I've gotten close. I didn't have the ugly, but I got the furthest.
Like, lay it all out there.
I've gotten the furthest you can get on before ugly.
Okay.
So there. I mean, this is a very passionate cry. Like, really like Meech. I mean, not Meech, but Mitch. Like Mitch, like that type of cry. Like all the way. Like the eyes is red. It's going. You know what I mean? Might even get a sniffle, but I ain't never quite got to ugly. You know what I mean? Like that just, and even ugly for me is more of a silent ugly, I guess.
But why? But why? Why do you feel like you can't do that in front of you? Somebody, I know you trust that you. I'm sure you know that she would make a safe space for you.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember. I think I said something about it yesterday.
Is it?
Because if it's gonna get ugly, it's so personal that this is to me, it's just like, this is not for you to witness. It's not for you to fix. This is not for you to solve. This is not really for you to be involved with right now. If I feel the need for the ugly cry, it's so personal. It's not for you to be in the presence of the ugly cry. because I need this now.
That's a good answer.
I'm letting myself out.
That's a really
like
good
I got to
answer
get this
right
out.
there.
Shit, you know what I'm saying? Like going through, like yeah, that's for me. Like I can't.
Yeah,
That's not for your that's not for your eyes at that point. I think
that's a good answer. And I think we were discussing that yesterday, and I let you get right back to it, Mo, but I just want to put this in. As we were discussing that yesterday, I thought about it a little bit more. And the reason that we're so hesitant to do, like what we saying, the ugly cry in front of people is what Mo just said, like to double down and like that ain't for that's for me.
Mm-hmm.
Like it ain't for her to worry about like, damn, is this gonna linger on? Am I gonna have to address this later? Like that's just for me, and I know that I got to figure this shit out. That ain't for moms, that ain't for pops, that ain't for the kids, that ain't for the wife. Like that ain't for nobody but me. Like it fascinates me the people that go do that shit on like Instagram or TikTok or whatever it may be, and they'll do the ugly cry, and, like expect you to do whatever in the comments. But you made a really good point, Mo. Like that's one of the things that I don't mind us as black men being selfish with. It's like I can't. It's just not for everybody. Like that ugly cry that like I'm really deep in my bag and don't know what I'm gonna do, but I just need 2 or 3 minutes just to get this shit out. That's for us individually.
Yep. And I told you, I always feel so much better when I do that because it's literally the hard reset. Because whenever you finish that last tear, that last sniffle, you get quiet for a moment, you wipe them eyes, kind of blow your nose. You might even chuckle. You might even laugh like
I've done that before and laughed a little bit.
Like, all right,
damn,
okay. All
yeah.
Right. All right. And then from that point, you can start to build. You know what I mean? But you need that time to yourself. The people that are doing that on Instagram and social media, they ain't been giving themselves that 20 minutes we've been talking about.
I'll never ever in my life. I don't care what explanation.
What more do you want from me?
Recording yourself crying, unless you having a conversation that comes out, like, but to record yourself crying about something.
Even if you having a conversation to come out, Rich, like I gotta hit the camera, like cut this shit off, bro. Like I'm out of here.
Dog, I got a family member. I got a family member that had an individual send them messages via video crying.
Nope.
Crazy work.
Leave me alone, bro.
Yeah.
Leave me alone. Please leave me alone. That would be my response, but please leave me alone, bro. I don't know what to tell you. Leave me alone.
That's where you send them the WebMD. You send them the WebMD link.
Nah, I'm about to start. I gotta start leaving niggas on red.
Like you're gonna turn your read. I thought about doing that too. That's been a serious contemplation in my head, Rich. I want to turn my read receipts on. I thought about doing it.
And leave niggas on red, like so you know. I want you to see that I saw this and I had nothing to say about it.
Yes,
that is truly our personality thing right there.
It is.
That lines
it's
up
funny
perfectly.
that he say that because I've been thinking about that lately. Like
that lines up
that's
perfectly.
been on my mind. I want people to see, like, nah, bro, I'm not even responding to this shit.
My lack of response is the response.
And I seen it. I want you to know. I seen it as soon as you sent it, nigga. Like I checked the red stage, like a minute after you sent it, I seen it, and like, nah.
And I hope you circle back a couple days later and say, hey, bro, I ain't hear back from you. I know. I know.
Yeah, I know.
Delete that shit out of my text thread, nigga.
It's crazy, right?
Oh, shit,
but
man.
Just going through that, when we first moved here, there was a hurricane. I had to help her grandfather board up when we lived there at that moment. But this one obviously was, Shaquille O'Neal of freaking hurricanes, covering so much ground on that chart or whatever. So, it's coming. And I wanted to take a different spirit and energy this time. The first time I was worried out of my mind, going crazy, like it's the end of the world. It's the, you're getting all in your head about all the things you believe it could be because you're from the Midwest and you're not familiar with this type of thing. So the first time I was panicking, really trying to lean on Floridian energy, all the people around, like, what do you do? Oh yeah, man, we just blah, blah, blah. But nobody quite had anything settling enough to make me feel better about it coming. This time around, I just took a different approach. Like I talked about it earlier this year. When I talked about one of my goals, me and Spike spoke of when we had school loan. When we talked about it, one of them was getting closer to God. You know what I'm saying? And so for me, one of the things that I got knowing that, like, oh man, the people starting to get more antsy as it was coming and getting closer at work, and like, hey, we had to have a meeting, like, hey, don't come in, blah, 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 go through all the steps. You could use this as a shelter if you want to come here for shelter. Going through all of that, it's all. But for me, I was a lot more calm and nonchalant for a couple reasons. My wife was like, she's like, I'm gonna need you to kind of be a little bit more than nonchalant. I said, it's only two reactions. I'm either gonna panic or I'm gonna have to be nonchalant. You know what I mean? There's no middle with a hurricane. So I chose that. And then during those rides, I would drive and I was having to myself, I just felt God telling me, he's like, hey, if you really believe me, this is the time. We're gonna cash that check and we're gonna see. You've been saying this, you've been saying that. Let's see what you really mean. Let me see what you really feel. You say that, so let's see. This is the moment. And I said, you know what? I'm leaning I'm doubling down on it. I got to. And that's what got me through as far as the moment the hurricane came. We boarded up, the bottom. I didn't have a ladder to board up the upstairs, but we made a plan, went downstairs, and we were good for so long until eventually the power went out. And that was probably 11 o'clock. And you starting to hear strong winds and stuff. It's not as strong as it was when you go upstairs because that wasn't boarded. So the winds sound ridiculous. That was the night, and that following day, we didn't have power. So we, had a little daylight. I was cool at first. He was like, all right, cool. We already had our little Dollar Tree lights. We had a bunch of them planted everywhere just to have light in the house. And that first day I was all right. He was like, okay, we're gonna get power back, maybe not. Then we didn't have power, we didn't have signal, and we didn't have gas. So that definitely put me in a frenzy because again, I had to go back to what I believe. I was told, like, do you trust me? You believe me, like you said, so it's really challenging. I had to stay busy. My wife knows me. I had to keep staying busy. But again, she went somewhere. She went to her grandpa's when we did have gas and to get signal. And she came back. We was out of gas pretty much. And it was just me and baby boy. But obviously the house is hot. So I had to open the windows immediately, but I can't open the ones downstairs because they're shuttered. So now I'm just in survival mode. I had to keep him cool. Like he can't be hot. He had a little bit of a breathing issue a few months back that, they said just he shouldn't be hot. So just keeping him cool and just finding stuff. And she was gone for a while. So I ended up going for a walk with him in the stroller. So I was just trying to stay busy. When she got back, I was happy to see her, obviously, to occupy that company and attention, her and my daughter. But, after a while, like it was hot and, aggravation starts to happen. And then, you don't really have the proper food. So a lot of challenges started to happen there. And like I said, after a while, it really showed me how technology affects things in the sense that time does move faster because we have technology. Because when you don't have no distractions, time did not move fast at all, bro. Like it didn't go nowhere.
That was 3 days felt like 3 days.
Oh, absolutely. Like it didn't go nowhere. I'm sitting there like I'm trying. Okay, here's what I'm gonna do. All right. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna move this stuff over here to the freezer. I'm trying to stretch it out because I don't know what to do and I'm going crazy. I'm like, bro, I can't hit. At least if I can call somebody. You know what I mean? I can't call anybody. I can't get no signal, nothing. So you're on an island. You know what I mean? By yourself, really. And so that's where it started to get really challenging. So when I started to get the teary-eyed, I was like, hey, I'm gonna go ahead and take a shower. And then eventually the shower became cold because there was no, obviously the heat and stuff. But at that point, I just started singing music. I just started singing songs to get my spirit right. And it helped me. That was what I used at that time. And
gospel songs or real like
I actually did. I definitely had to do a gospel song. I needed to be encouraged because I was like, ain't no other song right now gonna get me through none of that. All that stuff is fun and stuff. But when you're going through it for real, I need that soul right now. So
did you ever? I'm curious to know because I know you say survival mode.
Mm-hmm.
Was there ever any worst case scenario mode? Like, what was the worst that you thought could have happened from that? Where does your mind take you as someone who never been through that or lived through that before?
Worst case scenario is definitely like something happening to the house. You know what I mean? Like while we're in it, like that's the worst case scenario. But after that, I never got concerned in like we weren't going to be able to eat because we really you really got 24 hours on the fridge before everything go bad, and in the freezer if you don't open it. But of course we opened the door, so we limited our time. So we was just riding out them cold cuts, like we was just getting it off, like hey, let's get back to it. And then that next day 2, I went. Okay, yeah, day 2. So what ended up happening was I was trying to see if anything was open, and I had my bike because we had no gas. I was like, okay, I got my bike, so I ended up riding out, and I was like, dang, the gas station, they still over, nobody, no gas, nobody, even I think there was no gas. So then I rode to Walmart, and when I got there, I'm like, man, almost
how far is Walmart?
It's down the street. It's any y'all would have did
like a
this
mile.
Yeah, I say about a mile. About a mile. Yeah, it's enough to walk, and that walking will come back in this story. So this is where I'm glad. Like, and this is why I learned one of the things I learned. Like, I almost talked myself out of just going to see something because I went and seen the gas station. Like, damn, they still ain't. There's too many people here. We ain't gonna be able to get no gas. There's no way. The line was just back way, way, way back for miles. So I was like, we ain't gonna be able to get no gas. And then I'm like, man, I'm looking over the hill. I'm like, is Walmart open? I said, I don't see no cars really. And I was like, man, all right, I'm just gonna ride back home. Then I said, and I had to check myself. I said, nigga, just go see. Ain't nothing wrong with being 100% sure, because we'll talk ourselves out. Yeah, I'm sitting there like, man, ain't nobody over there, bro. There's no way they open. Like, and this is early in the morning, 7 in the morning. I'm like, they ain't open. Man, forget it. I go back home and just tell her. But I was like, nah, I don't want to come back home without being absolutely sure. So I get up there and I look and I said, oh, the things are not in front of the windows. And so I'm looking at, there's a little line there. So I was able to get in line. So when I got in line, they was letting 50 people in at a time. So I was one of the first 50. So I get in there. So I'm like, damn, I don't got no car. We need groceries like now. And we need stuff that we don't need to heat up. So I ended up buying like a luggage thing, like that had wheels, so that I could bring the joint and put all these groceries in with the bike to get back to the house. And it was a lot trickier than I thought. It was not smooth at all. But somehow I managed to get the bike, the groceries, and everything on the handles back. I ended up having to walk home because I could not ride the bike with that big old bag. And I got home.
Even with all that, though, I bet you felt like super nigga though.
Oh man, listen.
I went and got it done.
Listen, nigga. I'm walking dead, like in my head.
I'm the only one to get the job done.
I
don't know a nigga that can cover for me.
So nigga, I finally get back to the house. I had to do the walk, and then nigga, I so dedicated, nigga. I'm walking on this side of the street, and in my mind, I'm seeing other people walking too. I immediately got in defense mode. Nobody's coming towards me. They don't look like they're harmful people, but I immediately got in defense mode. I was like, if somebody comes over here and tries to even be like, hey, can you help me? Anything? I'm about to knock your ass out, nigga. I don't care who it is. That because I was like, well, you're gonna find out later. I had the right mindset. I'm gonna tell you.
All right, bet.
So, so I eventually get back, the windows open, and so I was so happy. I'm the garage. I'm like, honey, I'm home, like trying to be funny. And she was like, oh man, you okay? I'm glad you're okay. I was worried about you. I didn't hear from you because my phone, like I reached out because I had signal at Walmart, but she didn't have signal. So she was like, was you able to you got something? I got something. And nigga, when I came in with that duffel, nigga, with the Cheez-Its and crackers and canned soups and Vienna sausages and all, like nigga, I definitely felt like that. I took a lot of pride in that moment. Where it's like I really was. I went out and hunt for my family. You know what I'm saying? It was a struggle. It wasn't easy to do. Like it wasn't just some cakewalk. It was pretty rough. I ended up having to walk in the mud and everything. I was like, damn.
How long did all this take you? Like round trip? How long do you think that took you?
I say probably somewhere 2 to 2.5 hours, maybe.
Okay.
Most of it was the Walmart. Most of it was the Walmart part. The walk part wasn't as crazy. It was that part of really mentally, what can we use and what should I get and not get? And then even then, like before that, the day of the hurricane, like all the stores were closed, so I couldn't even get him no milk. So I'm like, damn, nigga, you cannot have no newborn with no milk. And so I ended up getting like at a gas station some like 2% milk, and they're having to water it down to kind of trying to manage that thing. So yeah, it just everywhere I turned, but I just stayed optimistic. But that was that day pretty much. We made it through. Still was hot, struggle. We all sleeping in the same room because our room got the best air. And then that final night going into the next day, somebody told us they were gonna come and bring us some gas. We was like, oh, thank you. They ended up flaking on us. So you know, imagine
a generator. What was the gas for?
No, we didn't know for the car.
Okay.
Because we were thinking like, okay, if some places are getting power, we're gonna go to a hotel somewhere. We're gonna go. I don't care how far we got to drive. Who ain't affected? We ain't had no gas, and plus we need to charge our phones. We ain't got no power. So it's like all these things that we had to walk them. So we walked the neighborhood a million times. I probably had to lose at least 3 pounds. But like we end up finding little small areas in the neighborhood. We just stop right there. That's where signal is. So it's like reaching out to like whoever we can get a hold of or whatever. And so that last day, I was like, man, all right, I'm gonna get out here early. I'm gonna see what the gas stations are looking like. And I think that's when they finally were opening, but the lines was ridiculous. So I was like, all right, I'm gonna go back into Walmart again today, this last day, and I'm gonna get a gas can. So I'm like, all right, cool. I'm gonna get a gas can. We just because they had a gas can for people walking too. So I'm like, yeah, we get in that line. It might be a little faster because it was ridiculous with the cars. I go in Walmart. They say, yeah, no, we're out of gas. I'm like, damn. So I get out and I come back and somebody stole my bike. Nigga,
damn.
You want to talk about hot?
Hold on, time out. You ain't had no bike lock?
Nah, bro. This bike that was just given to me. Like it was just given to us. So I didn't put it as a priority, to be honest.
And not to victim. I'm not.
I know what you mean. I mean, yeah, of course, anybody now looking, it's like, damn, I wish I would have had a chain, but I just didn't. And I put it because the first day I did it, I hit it somewhere by a semi, and I was like, all right, cool. But this time I hit it by a bush, and I'm like, nigga, I couldn't have been in here more than 15 minutes. Who was watching me, nigga, bro? I was pissed. So again, I have to walk home again, but this time without a bike. And so we finally, her grandpa, we got him to come out. He had this 2-ounce gas can, very small. He drops us off across the street. We walk and we get in line. We in line. I'm seeing everybody got big dog cans like gas getting, and I'm like, babe, I overheard somebody talking. It was literally by an auto shop. I said, hey, babe, they got 5-ounce gas cans over there, and they saying they're like 2 for $60. She's like, 2 for $60. I'm like, I know. I said, man, that's crazy. Don't worry about it. And she's like, you know what? I'm gonna go over there. So she walks over there, with the kids and everything. I'm staying in line. Brings the big dog. Now the challenging of it all was, I'm thinking I'm about to spend like hundreds of dollars. I think it was like $35 because it's only 12 ounces of gas. Like it was, I thought it was gonna be something crazy anyway. But the trickiest part of it all, bro, is we had to walk back because our grandpa dropped us off and he had to go about his way. So we had to walk back. So you imagine 2 big giant gas cans, and there's a small one she has, and then we also have the kids. That walk is different when you got them gas cans, bro. That probably was some of the hardest stuff I ever did in my life. And we got so far, I had to stop. Like at the point, she got to like rub my shoulders and everything because I'm like, nigga, this is freaking hard, bro. And it's hot, and these are heavy. Like there ain't no cheat code. She tried to partner with me with one of them. So we finally got all the way down after so many stops to the opening of our neighborhood, and there was a Hispanic dude that was like, hey, you guys need a ride. And I was like, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So he gets out of the car, helps us put the stroller in the trunk. And then he was like, hey, we had the gas cans in our hand. And he was like, hey, you can put those in the back there too. I said, nah, that's okay. I'll hold them. He's like, oh, come on, go ahead. I said, nah, we hold them.
So I ain't letting this go.
Nigga, bro, he about 3 times said, nah, I'll hold them. Like, we good. Because I said, there's no way you're going to let me out the car and drive off with my gas. Because niggas, that's an easy move. Got him, yeah. And I'm out.
And when the times that like that's feasible. Like everybody trying to get for themselves. Like a nigga stole your bike. Like, nah, I'm gonna hold on to this, my nigga.
I promise. Value. For real. Like, so I end up holding it in. Dude end up living in the neighborhood. We didn't have him drop us off right at the house. We had him drop us off by the mailbox, and then we finished the walk with the, But I just looked at that. I said, man, that was just God looking out. Like, I looked at it. I really did look at it like a faith move. Like, if you start this journey walking in faith, I'll finish it. You know what I'm saying? And that's what happened. We literally got to the opening of our neighborhood, and it still would have been quite a walk from there. And like literally, that's when the help came. You know what I'm saying? So, man, it was a tricky part. So when the power came on, just to close up the story, so we're getting ready. We finally, we're getting better signal every day. And now we're like, okay, we're about to get out of here. We about to pack up our bags. We find in a hotel. We got gas now. So I'm getting ready. I'm like, all right, let me get a baby a bath real quick and stuff like that. So I look and I'm like, when does Zion turn on when did she turn on the bathroom light? The bathroom light. And then I was like, yo, the light's on. And then we was like, like, dude, it's like, bro, you would have thought, nigga, it was Chris. We got pop. Like,
that's what I'm talking about.
Oh man, the air you like, oh, man, nigga, I was hyped in the mud, bro. I just fell on the ground just looking at the ceiling, like, oh my God. Like, that was a long 3 days, bro. That was a long 3 days. But yeah, that's kind of the abbreviated version, but it was quite the challenge. I learned so much from that experience, bro. That is one of those literally, if it didn't kill you, make you stronger moments. That's one of those literal senses, man.
Hey, I commend you, man. You're a strong brother. I'm not in a position to be able to deal with a family. Like what you did during that, like
actually, hold on.
Shout out to you.
I'm not gonna let you get away with that, Spike. That's not true at all.
Oh
you
yeah,
just don't have to. You just don't have to.
You just don't have to.
If you had to, if your back was to the wall and you had to, you 1,000%.
I believe that. Yeah, I like nah. You definitely would like nah. That's my girl.
Ain't no way. Like, but to his point, we don't have to. If that shit happened to me and it's just me, I'm gonna find a way.
It's
and
different.
I'm like, all
right.
It's a whole lot different when it's just you versus a family.
Yeah, I can figure it out for myself, but figuring it out for other people is like different. But
it is,
and I wouldn't shy away from that, but it's just like I don't have to do it, so I understand like what you take on, having a family, having a kid, like that's commendable, bro. That's dope shit. You did a great job, my brother.
I appreciate
great job stepping up, being a black man.
Hey, man.
Absolutely.
Thank you, man. I appreciate that from you brothers. I really do.
That's a story that they need to be talking about more instead of just all this other shit.
Let
me ask you this. I'm curious because we've all experienced things in those life-changing moments where we say, just like you said, man, that changed me. That changed it changed the way I look at certain situations. Part of the issue with that is it fleets, right? After a while, things go back to normal. And now it's like, all right, that experience is in the back pocket, but it's not at the forefront of my brain. Is any of that still at the forefront of your brain a few weeks later? Is there anything that you hold on to just like, yo, I literally, almost like the book that Spike and myself were talking about, the Uncle Soda's Ferrari. That was a life, that changed his life. It wasn't just like, oh, this trip, it was cool and I can go revisit it or tell people about that time I went. Like, this changed the whole way I look at everything, the whole way I'm
different.
I'm different
now.
Yeah, I'm different. Like that. There ain't no going back to like,
I'm different now.
Do you feel it was that intense?
No, it was. What it did, what stuck. I mean, really, it was a few things. But what stuck for me is, again, it's like my trust level elevated when it comes to my relationship with God. Like, that elevated more because it taught me something about faith in action. You know what I'm saying? Taking steps, action. Faith is like an action word, not just a descriptive word. You know what I mean? Or it takes action, and that going through that walk, like literally with them gas cans, like, and then how it played out is like, now it showed me something. A lot of times it's like, bro, you got to start those steps. He gonna meet you there, but how committed are you to get this thing moving? You know what I'm saying? So that forever changed me because I didn't have that type of faith and belief like that to that degree.
It gives you confidence though, right?
Oh, absolutely. I was like, oh yeah, that's what your trust and like, oh, okay, I'm gonna be good. I know he got me. I just got to do my part. You know what I'm saying? And so that has stuck. And the other thing that stuck, I said, man, I'm really gonna work on complaining. You know what I mean? I said, and I have found myself. I still like it. The first few days you're happy to be able to go back to doing the chores and do all of the regular mundaneness. But after 3 or 4 days, it's like you get back into the minutia of how busy life is again. And it's like now you like ran down all over again, like we're talking about, and not giving yourself them 20 minutes. But I find myself, I literally do take that Tony Soprano approach where I find myself breathing. Like, even if I got to get louder with the breathing, I just like breathe, close my eyes and breathe, because I'm not going to complain about this. Like, you remember how it was when you didn't have it. You wanted the break you thought you wanted, and so that is stuck. So those are the two things. It's like just really working on complaining, which I wasn't a big complainer, but in comparison, it's like, bro, just be grateful. You know what I'm saying? Like, and so I am still grateful. And like I said, my faith has grown, and, and then just leadership with my family. I just always want her to understand like how far that I'll go to make sure that we're good. You know what I mean? So
And it gives you that confidence too. Like, nigga, I'm a beast. Nigga,
No,
got
don't get.
Done,
hey,
nigga.
listen, I got that on tuck. Like that's sitting. Like,
and
not
to bring this nigga, not to
Mm-hmm.
bring this nigga up, but it immediately made me think of that video of Sean. We'll call him by his government, Sean. The classic, like when he gets off the phone and hangs up, I can do anything. Like put anything. Puff. I'm talking about Puff. Y'all remember that video? He's in his office and he slams the phone down. He's just throwing stuff. Put anything in front of me, I can do it.
Okay.
Like I said, legal issues and all that stuff aside, jokes aside.
Yeah.
But just that ultimate confidence of I can do anything. Like, nigga, there's nothing. The shit that I thought I couldn't do, I just realized I figured out in real time I could do it. Like, what are you gonna say to me?
And
like, I think
that's a beautiful point that you bring up, Rich, and a great story that you had, Mo. And again, going back to the book of the monk that sold a Ferrari, that's one of the things and one of the principles that he was telling the guy. Like, it's not being in a constant, like we talked about it, Rich. It's not being in a constant state of happiness. It's knowing that in these moments, I can do these things and I can come out on top, and it's going to make me feel better. I ain't gotta be happy all the time, bro. But I do have to have that reserve, like what you talked about, Mo. Like, I need to know that I can do this shit when my family is depending on me, my wife, my kids, they're depending on me. Like, I need to know that I can do that shit. And then that's going to fuel me to do the other shit that I've been hesitant in doing. Because now I got that confidence, like I came through in the clutch, nigga. And that's just like what Rich was talking about with the Puff video. Like, I came through in the clutch. Like, you ain't nothing you can tell me right now that's going to knock me off my pivot of I'm that nigga.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of us need to get in more into that bag. Me include. Like, I got some criticism this week from somebody saying, like, bro, you need to get more in your bag. Like, recognize you're that nigga. All of us, like, recognize, like, nah, nigga, I can do this shit, nigga, and I can do it well, and I can make sure that all my people are straight, and I can make sure I can do everything that I want to do. But like, we shy away from that because it's so much clutter. We're talking about earlier what we talked about in the episode, like clearing that clutter out and being able to realize, nigga, nah, I can do this shit. I can do all of these things. So good. That's a really good story, Mo.
All right, on, man.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I obviously I think that's a perfect place to kind of wrap things up on it, because that's incredible. But I do want to ask you this: you do it all for your family, and I'd imagine, obviously, your son is too young to really know what's even going on. That's going to be something you tell him about when he's older. Your daughter, I'm sure, is of age, but probably still doesn't grasp the entire concept of. Because that's to expect you, dad, of course. Like, I expect that.
Exactly.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's
you're supposed to do
that's
that.
the role you
She
play.
look at you like you're the superhero, nigga. You supposed to do all the shit you did.
Yeah. But I want to ask, and obviously, not to get too personal, I want to ask about: did you and your wife have a moment after the power came on, after the 3 days were over, where you just kind of looked at each other and were just like, man, I'm glad we have each other in our corner? Or was there a moment where you just felt like this wasn't, I don't want to say it wasn't in vain, because obviously that's your family, but just that moment of, I felt, because a lot of times what happens is, just like we talked about with your children, let's take you out of it. If you're a parent, you have a child, that's expected. That's what you're supposed to do. From your wife, did you get that, I appreciate you? Like, was there ever that moment where, because I think a lot of times we do things as men, and we don't do it for the applause, but it's also really nice to hear it sometimes. Like, you know what? Like, and it could be as simple as, man, I appreciate what you just did to hold us down for these past 72 hours, 84 hours, however long it was. Did you have that moment, or are you so locked in to where what's understood and then we got to be said? Like, we know we just had each other back, because I'm sure in the same light you looked at her for certain things, like, I need you too. Like, I need you during this time, and you stepped up big for me the same way I stepped up for y'all in this way. Did you share that moment with each other? Or do you have that moment of, man, God is good, life is good, like, look at this?
I think the real time moment was probably the moment, I would say, when I got in, that reaction of like seeing that and opening it up and seeing all of the stuff that I got, and of course you get embraced, you get kissed, and then after that, like, just like, oh, thanks, babe, like, oh man, like, you're the best. And then my daughter hugging me like, oh, daddy, thank you, like, wow, thank you, and stuff like that. So it was just that real time moment where you know, it was a celebratory moment in a difficult time. And as far as when everything, the power came back on, I don't think there was like a hard stop on it. You know, it's one of those things like we will probably have to double back on at some point because we were in such the trenches. It really wasn't like we still got the shutters up. So
Yeah.
it's like it still ain't processed fully of like what we just went through, you know. So I don't think we've had that moment as far as like stopping for like man, appreciate each other, man. I'm glad I mean I've said definitely like, hey, look, I'm glad to go through this with you than going through this by myself, you know.
Hey, and that's, you know what, that's it. That's the moment. To quote Patsy Parisi, it won't be cinematic. Sometimes those moments ain't cinematic.
Yeah.
It's just that. It's the walking in the house feeling like a million. You know what I mean? And the whole family jump up like, yo, you that nigga. You that nigga. You showed up.
Yeah, you gotta be.
In the
You gotta
clutch.
be.
Fourth quarter, tie game, 3 seconds left on the clock. You switched that bitch and walked off.
I hit the shot.
Like and not only you hit the shot, nigga, give me the ball.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
So there a lot of people don't want to take that shot. They don't even want the ball. I don't even want that pressure. Give me the ball. I got it. I love that, Mo. Like I'm
great job by you, my brother.
Thank you, man.
Great job by you.
You stepped up and did what you were supposed to do as a leader of a family.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
That's what this whole platform,
yes, it is,
and this episode was about. Like I wanted, Rich was it was a great call out. Like people hearing your experience in this story and what you needed to do, and you doing those things. Like it's very inspiring for what we're trying to do here at Another Week in the Book. So thank you.
Hey man, no problem. Thank y'all for having me. Thank you for having me.
As only you can, Maurice. Bearing your soul, man. Appreciate you. Real talk.
Yeah.
I think this is gonna be another pay favorite. I think people are gonna really enjoy this. And you're just an incredible dude, man. You're just an incredible brother, man. Like legit.
It's mutual, man. It's mutual.
Yeah, we appreciate you so much, man. But with that being said, that's gonna wrap up chapter 8 of Another Week in the Books, book 2. The return of one of the originators, man, Maurice Hunt III. Thank you for bearing your soul with us, man. Thanks for opening up, being vulnerable. Thanks for continuing to teach us the way. You know, brothers like Spike and myself, who, you know, we might be moving on a little bit slower pace than you, but for teaching us the way. And, you know, and Spike, man, shout out to you because I'm proud of even these 8 weeks, man, the growth that we've shown, man, and some of the conversations that we've been able to have, and knowing that
a lot of self-realization in these 8 weeks. A lot of like, I have to step this up. This has to be sharper. This has to be better. And again, Mo, I love what we did on our 100 chapters. Also expanding upon that, Rich, the challenge that you've put forth, like, okay, those 100 chapters were dope, but now we need action. And I need someone in my life that's going to be like, nah, the action is one of the most important parts of it too. Like, what are you doing from a week-to-week basis? What worked? What didn't work? Like, what can you improve on? Like, what could you have done better? All those things that we get to address in book 2, that's helping me be a better person. And by the time we're done with this, when there are 100 chapters of this, like, I expect to be a different person.
Yeah, your life gonna be different. Your life gonna look different than what it does now. Both of ours. And, you know, progress, not perfection. That's kind of the theme of this. As long as there's progress. You know what I mean? I want to make sure that everybody understands that when you are trying to improve and you change who you are and change your life, it's such a rush to do it. It's such a urgency. This got to get done. And you know what? It's a slow grind. It's a slow grind, man. And there's some things that I'm doing right now, doing some research and some stats, because Culture Garden is about to celebrate our 100th episode. And I'm just doing, today I was just like, man, how many podcasts get to 100 episodes? Right? It's like 6.8%. Between 6.8 and 10% get to 100 episodes. 93% of people quit before they get to 100 episodes. And they say it takes 2 years or 100 episodes to even feel like you made an imprint. Right? And so many people give up. And I just think about the long grind that it takes. And you don't think that you're stacking up wins every week because everybody wants that instant success. But I promise you, and that's what I'm most excited for when me and Spike, as he mentioned, we get to chapter 100 of book 2. Like, just how our lives look, not just what we do on the microphone and things like that. Just literally, we look around at our day-to-day surroundings, the things that we were able to do, the time, the access, and be like, damn, I would have never been able to achieve this if I didn't put in that work on that random Tuesday 4 months ago. If I ain't put in that random work on that Sunday afternoon when I ain't want to do shit, but I knew I said I was going to do this, so I did it. And because I had a brother that said, hey, I knew he was going to ask me about it, whether it be me, whether it be Dro, anybody, Mo, whole nine, like it Phil, everybody. So I'm excited for it, man. It's a grind, and there's going to be days that suck. For everybody out there, there's going to be days that suck. And you know what? There's going to be days where, you know what? I ain't got it. And that's cool. Just don't make it happen 2 times in a row. Like progress, not perfection. Like I said, you ain't got to be perfect. Just be moving in the right direction. I'm proud and I'm honored to be able to share space and create with y'all brothers. This has been incredible. Before we get out of here, though, hold on, my fault. Before we get out of here, Maurice, I would love for you to announce the new podcast that you have coming out. Okay. I don't think it's really been publicized too much. You and I have had conversations because it's kind of in the same vein of Culture Garden in a sense. And I'm excited to listen to it. So do you want to plug that podcast?
Yeah, we just wrapped our So Far Pod season 1. So we're starting a new podcast. It's already in Apple. If you want to subscribe now, it's called Childish Grown-Ups. It's me. Well, let me say it in the order in which it's described. Ash, Mia, and Mo. So it's us 3 where we're reviewing or rewatching rather childhood films with the twist. That twist you will have to tune in for to see what the twist is. But we're taking time looking at things from an adult lens of childhood movies like a Toy Story, like a Shrek, or like a whatever it is, Miss Doubtfire, who knows? You know what I mean? Just going into that bag of things that, mostly 90s, probably some 80s stuff if we were, watching it in that realm. But yeah, we just rewatching movies we grew up on. We obviously have a timeline too far as where we're like older, and it's like we're not going to really touch the movies, but movies that we grew up on, just having that. So it's a film conversation, but it's going to be very nostalgic. I got a whole soundscape of how I want it to sound and feel when you get in there and listen. It's like, oh, this feels like I'm in a different time period. That's been my brainchild of it all. It's like I want it to feel. I want this aesthetic to feel like it's putting you somewhere. I've studied a lot of podcasts, and so this is just another one of the ones I'm trying to figure out how to, from a production level, take it somewhere else that really creates another vibe, like how Another Week in the Books was, and all the things that I'm a part of along with these brothers. So y'all go subscribe now. It's on YouTube as well. So it's called Childish Grown-Ups.
Hey, I got one request, Mo. If y'all ever do, I don't know if you've seen it, if it was too early for your childhood. If y'all do Moving with Richard Pryor in it, the movie.
Moving?
Yeah, it's called Moving. It's a Richard Pryor movie. It came out of 88. Like that was one of the movies in my childhood. Okay. If y'all ever do that, I want to be on it. It's called Moving with Richard Pryor.
Okay. All right. Sound good. Give us a list, man. Give us a list.
You ever seen that, Rich?
Yeah. I know exactly what you're talking about.
He a film dude. He ain't seen
it. I
know exactly what you're talking about.
But yeah, come up with a list, y'all. Y'all definitely come up with a list if
I love it, man. I love it. Mo, been a pleasure. Spike Lou family, you already know what it is.
Absolutely.
Bookworms. Can't say this enough, man. We cannot do any of this without y'all. Any of this. Even if it's 1 or 2 of y'all that listen a week, thankfully it's more. And I'm glad that this community is growing and is building. I'm glad that y'all are appreciating the content that we're putting out. It's only going up from here, man. I say it all the time, man. Me and Spike are still figuring this thing out. And I'm very pleased with where we are, considering that we don't even have it all the way set in yet. And the sky's the limit. So we're going to take our own advice. Progress, not perfection. We're going to still keep growing. Bring you these real-time conversations, these things that we all need as grown men, as black men, and we're going to take it from there. So
this purpose, baby. Wait till I figure this purpose out.
It's going to be up, man. And I'm going to challenge you on that. I'm going to challenge you on that, man. That's one thing. As much as we enjoy these conversations, I personally will say I still can do a better job of doing the weekly check-ins, just the off-air, the random texts on the Wednesday morning. Oh, Spike Lou, how your week been going, man? You good? You been doing the shit you say you was going to do? All of that.
I'd appreciate that. I don't get those from anybody. I'll be completely transparent here on this platform. Like I don't really get those from anybody. I think people really feel like that. Oh, he got to figure it out. He doing this, that.
Nah,
like,
I got you.
I ain't got to check in. I ain't got to check in on him. He good. I don't really get those. So yeah, that would be greatly appreciated. I appreciate it.
Say less. I got you, fam. But y'all be cool, man. Bookworms, we appreciate y'all. you two brothers, we'll talk real soon, man. We got good earners coming up soon. But
Yeah.
Please remember to subscribe, Childish Grownups. Until next week, we'll see y'all on chapter 9. Peace.
Peace.